Can I have a motion to resume public session? Dr. Richards, Ms. Jennings, all in favor? The vote is unanimous. We're now back in public session. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. All right, welcome this evening. We're going to move next to our GC Pride Awards.
There we go. Can you guys hear me now? There we go. Good evening, Superintendent Daly, Board President Coffey, the rest of the Board of Education. Tonight I have two people I'd like to recognize with GC Pride Awards. The first one is Modesty Penny. Modesty is a junior here at the high school, and over the last 3 years we have seen her grow and mature into a strong leader. She is an active participant in our building equity team, majorette dance team, and a contributor on the track team as well. She is always willing and able to help in any capacity needed and will continue to use her skills and strengths to improve our school. I know she will eventually be annoyed with me with all the meetings I've asked her to attend already, but it's because I know she has so much to contribute to our school. She is a tremendous role model for her peers and very deserving of this GC Pride Award. It's fancy. Congratulations. My next GC Pride Award is Ms. Christian Joseph. I've had the privilege of working alongside Ms. Joseph for 6 years. As I began preparing to speak about her tonight, I was just flooded with everything that she's done for this district. On top of being the math curriculum leader, she is also a class advisor, math league advisor, board member of AMNIS, Association of Math Teachers of New York State, and countless other committees to serve the high school and the district. I've often had to tell her no when I'm looking for more people to join a committee and task force, and this happens regularly. She was the leader of organizing our school culture initiatives, end-of-year staff picnic, and helps organize our monthly Friday morning breakfast for our staff. She teaches everything from AP stats to our Crossroads classes, as she is that valuable of a teacher. Ms. Joseph is easily one of the hardest working, most dedicated people I've ever had the pleasure of working with. Her passion for students and Gates Chiley is truly unmatched. She is beyond deserving of this GC Pride Award. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you. Congratulations, both of you, and thank you for all of your work. Mr. Daly is going to come take a picture of you guys, if you don't mind standing over there for just a second. Oh yeah, thank you. Hold on, you guys. There's I assume a parent of some sort coming to take a picture for you. You can go closer. Go all the way up. Again, thank you for all you do for your school. Mr. Daly, do we have any agenda changes?
Yes, we do. We have changes to personnel as well as under reports. A will now be a brief report from our BOCES 2 superintendent, as well as B now will be the much anticipated high school report.
Sorry, you guys are second now. Okay, thank you. All right, that moves us forward to board president comments. So as we're reaching the end of that first semester of our school year, knowing that there's a lot of pieces in work and in play for all of our students and all of our staff and families, we have students preparing for different exams to show the skills that they know and they've acquired for all of their hard work this year that'll help them get their high school requirements and move on to whatever their future college or work goals are. We have a lot of extracurriculars starting at some of the elementary schools. They do their cycles of like their 6-week clubs. We have many different concerts coming up which as a parent, I also really appreciate having the post-holiday break concerts, so you can sit back and enjoy it a little bit more. We have, excuse me, sorry, a Title I funds meeting coming up at the high school as well. So a lot of things going on to support our education as a community and making sure we're working together to support our students and their success. We had the opportunity last week as a board to meet with some of our more recent grads, which is something that we look forward to, both as an administrative team and as a school board, to really get to hear some from our students who have just started to step into that world beyond high school and see some of the things that they're starting to gather that have either prepared them and been helpful, areas that they're starting to realize maybe we could continue to grow. So it's always really helpful for us, and it's really exciting to see how happy they are to see each other. We had 17 or 18 kids, and we had some emotional administrators who were very excited to see them in a very positive way. But it's a really helpful and just a really positive experience for everybody. We also had the opportunity to tour the updated administration building and just see how welcoming and thoughtful the design has been to not only support people coming in from our community, whether they're registering their student for the first time or maybe coming and participating in a meeting that might have emotions attached to it as well, knowing that all those pieces have been very thoughtful to make sure there's space, that it's calm, that it's soothing, that it's productive, and making sure that there's also, for the people that work there every day, those collaborative spaces that they need to be successful and to continue to grow in their work as well. We had an Education Foundation meeting. Looking forward to our upcoming spring volleyball with our elementary schools. So that'll be on April 10th. I know you're really going to want to be there. It's very intense, very competitive. And just taking a minute to really look to kind of what some of those pieces are that either our state or our nation and our schools are recognizing and considering and thinking through this month. We have National Braille Literacy Month and National Mentoring Month, and knowing kind of that there are people within our district that both of those pieces may impact their lives in different ways. We also have coming up Martin Luther King Jr. Day and work around recognizing the impacts of that work and that day. And we also have the Lunar New Year coming up. And today is, I believe, Eastern Orthodox Christmas? What? Oh, New Year. Learning holidays, guys, because I want to make sure that I understand the pieces of the people around me. So we have a lot of different pieces going on for the kids in our community and our adults in our community, and knowing to recognize that those pieces are important to each of their days and their lives. We also, as a final piece, have upcoming opportunities as a board to work on advocating for our students and our scholars, both at the county level and up to the state level. We have coming up a legislative breakfast that occurs every year on February 1st, and there's opportunities to advocate in Albany in March. So knowing that those are pieces that we're considering as a board and how we can best advocate for our students. All right, that brings us to points of interest. Do we have any points of interest? Ms. Davis?
First, I just want to thank the last year's graduates who came back last year and spoke to us. It's always probably my favorite meeting of the year, sorry. But always good to see them and hear what they have to say and what their experience has been so far in the next steps of their educational career, work career, whatever. And I'm sure they all had lots of other places they would have liked to be, but they chose to be here with us that night, so it was great. And then also I attended the winter chorus concert last week at the high school. That was always great. And again, like President Coffey said, that there's always the holiday concerts, but it's nice to have one after the break to kind of continue that celebration of the holidays and winter and whatnot. So great job by all. That's all.
Thank you. Any additional points of interest? Okay, that moves us forward to reports of meetings. Have we had any in recent weeks that we need to update? Dr. Richards?
I'm just going to talk really loud because my microphone is not, no, thank you. Just as a follow-up, the ad hoc committee met, and one of the things that we always try to do is we like to try to mirror our administrative team and as far as book reads and book studies. So the board will be reading the infamous How Not to Be a Terrible School Board Member book. And then we'll be following it up with another book study by Dr. Bettina Love to just kind of continue our professional development as board members.
Do we have any other meetings? Okay. Do we have any visitor comments? All right, that moves us on to reports. So our first report is our Monroe 2 BOCES superintendent.
Thank you very much for having me. My name is Tom Putnam. I'm the new district superintendent for Monroe 2 Orleans BOCES, and I'm joined here by our board president and very proud Gates resident. I hear quite a lot about everything you do here in this district through Dennis. I had a pretty lengthy report, but your superintendent told me there'd be trouble if I went too long. So I'm going to narrow it down to 3 points on our partnerships here with BOCES 2 and the Gates-Chili Central School District. One is we have 107 Gates students in our career technical education programs as of January 1st. And in case you're interested, the most enrolled programs are nurse assistant, culinary arts, criminal justice, and cosmetology. And second, I just want to say thank you. BOCES for Science is run through Monroe 2 for across the state, and those are science kits directly tied to our standards in New York State. And you currently lease 279 kits this year, 18 different titles, and you're one of the highest uses in our region. And I think it shows with what your students perform when it comes to those science assessments, especially at the elementary levels. And then finally, I'll just tell you a huge thank you. I'm working through the process of visiting every one of the programs BOCES 2 offers, both in our center and also out in districts. And I can't thank you enough for the partnership with the integrated preschool classroom that we have at Neil Armstrong. And I got a chance to go visit that. Absolutely amazing. Elementary school was so welcoming and so welcoming for the students that come in, and I can't thank you enough. And I always like to share, they made sure they checked my ID and wouldn't let me in even though I told them who I was. And that's exactly what you need from your school staff around security these days. So thank you. I'll turn it over to Dennis, who's going to talk a little bit about the annual meeting.
Okay, thank you. It's good to see everybody again. And first, thank you for letting me represent Gates-Chili on the BOCES 2 board. It's been a pleasure. And the annual meeting is April 9th, and you're all invited. And it's always a good time when the kids are there. The other thing, if you need to contact me, email or phone, I'm right there. And thank you again for all your service here as well as everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys, and thanks for taking the time to come out and speak with us tonight. All right, we now have our high school report.
Good evening again. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about all the great things that we're doing at Gates-Chili High School. With me, I have the high school administrative team and two wonderful students that also have some points of interest to bring up as we go through our presentation this evening. So just a quick view of our agenda. We have a couple new items that I'll be touching base on that are new to the high school, recapping a little bit about our building equity team, a couple slides on our department happenings throughout the entire building, updates and something really interesting with the Children's Institute and a continued partnership. Mrs. Kern's going to be speaking to our safety and security practices and protocols at the high school, overall school culture, and then a short proposal at the very, very end that, again, we'll be highlighting in this presentation. All of these, what's really, really great and unique is all of these are tied to our building and district goals. So as we have our two district goals, we have building level goals that are and action items that are developed from those, that all of these items hit as we work together at the high school. So new this year, we felt it was very necessary to continue the work that the elementaries have done and even the middle school have done over the years with social emotional learning lessons. This year, during the summer, we had a school committee get together and develop some lessons. These are lessons that were based around the New York State standards on social emotional learning, and the committee over a 2-day period developed these lessons. This year, we're really just trying to dip our toes into it because this is new to the high school. The topics that are covered are things like self-awareness, managing emotions, social awareness, and what's really interesting in how we did this is we found nice short and sweet videos that are shown in the classrooms by the teachers, followed by some sort of engaging interactive Microsoft form to follow and report to. So then we're able to see student responses similar to the screener that's going to be happening next week at the high school, and we're just able to monitor their responses to the prompts from the Microsoft form that will be done in the classroom. These are done once a month, rotating through each period. So back in September, we did it in period 1, October did it in period 2, and so on and so forth.
Good evening. Following a successful small-scale pilot that we had in the spring, we're excited to announce the full implementation of the securely electronic e-pass hall pass system in both our middle school and high school. The digital platform replaces what we all know and love as the traditional pass system that students would use, but this new innovative pass system features designed ways to maximize instructional time, streamline student movement, and enhance overall school safety. So basically how it works, the students can request a hall pass directly from their devices, whether it's their laptop or their phone, and the teacher simply approves the request digitally. Once the pass turns green, the student knows that they can move and they're signaled to go to the destination. For students who may not have their own device, teachers can create hall passes on their behalf, ensuring that all students can access the system regardless of device availability. But it's the live dashboard that actually has become essential for us in administration and as staff for real-time monitoring and accountability. Staff can instantly see who's out of class, where they're headed, and how long that they've been gone. This is all recorded in the dashboard for the staff to see. The level of visibility provides structure and encourages responsible student movement throughout the school day. During class time, additional system features help maintain our safety. The number of passes in use within the building, both school-wide and in their individual classrooms, and the location limits are preset from administration so that it prevents overcrowding in the key areas of the building. The contact control feature adds another layer of safety by preventing pairs of students in conflict from being on an active pass simultaneously. The impact is already clear for us, as our data reports have shown. Just one example, since implementing some contact controls, we've seen productive reports, such as one pair of students were blocked 314 times from attempted meetups. Another group of students was 516 times. And the current record holder as of today, the pair that was blocked, was 1,916 times from getting together during class time. These numbers highlight how the system is effectively preventing any inappropriate interactions, and this is maximizing the time in the classroom. Additionally, the data collected provides us other valuable insights. By monitoring these trends and generating reports, we can address behaviors like chronic hall wanderers, that was a hard one, or excessive pass usage through meaningful conversations that we have with students, with parents, and with counselors. Thanks for your support as we refine and expand the system. With less paper now, more efficiency, and greater accountability, this e-pass system is helping us create a safer and more productive learning environment.
Back in 2020, 2021, there was a committee put together to analyze our Latin honors or implementing the use of the Latin honors system. With your support, this was approved by the Board of Ed, and this graduating class is going to be our first year of implementing the Latin honors system. As of this past week, we will have 16 students recognized for summa cum laude, 27 students earn magna cum laude honors, and 36 students earn cum laude honors. What's really great and unique about Latin Honors is not only is it more recognized by colleges and universities, the transcript really speaks for itself as students are applying for colleges and universities, but we're able to recognize students through WMOCO, students with IEPs, and more than just the 2 students traditionally at a graduation ceremony. What is going to be a little bit different this year, along with the Latin honor system, is the graduation speeches. Traditionally, it is the valedictorian and salutatorian. This year, the graduation speech process will be students that qualify for the summa cum laude recognition will get an invite from me, the building principal, to submit an application along with a rough draft of their speech. We're a small committee, including a counselor, grade level principal. I think Mrs. Petrosino wanted to sit on as well to look at what these speeches look like to see if it fits best for our program as we move forward with the new Latin honor system. All right, so that's it for the new things going on. Just an update on our building equity team. Our goal, again, is to increase an understanding and knowledge of diversity, equity, and inclusion for students and staff. At the high school, we schedule this time in the middle of the day. That's when we're going to get the best out of the students to do this work. And what's really great about the high school doing it is that we let the students lead the work. I told the staff to just get out of the way and let the students generate the ideas and what needs to get done. And to speak more about that, I'll turn things over to Ms. Modesty Penny.
Hello, my name is Modesty Penny, and I am a junior at Gage Chile High School. What the building equity team really is we basically have a discussion on safe places in small groups, and we're looking to add steps to make this happen. During the faculty meetings that we normally have them every second Wednesday of each month, and we talk about similar to what we were talking about last year, which is microaggressions. We have students present a topic to teachers, possibly on creating safe spaces within the school. The 10-day equity challenge, it was done a few years ago, where students building-wide watched short videos and readings on equity, and they had chances to respond and earn prizes towards that. And we're looking to revamp that later on this year. Gates to Change is a new name. It was originally called Mini Rock to Change. Originally, there was only 8 people from Gage Chile that we were able to bring, but now, as of today, we're able to bring over 70 students to attend. The topics that were on discussion last year were deconstructing tolerance and implicit bias, and we're looking to combine with other schools to further learn together.
Good evening. If you look up at the picture here, what you're going to see are pictures of some of our studio art students. This work was hung in the Auditorium Theater for the MJ musical. Students had explored portrait artwork and ways in which artists create portraits. They completed their final grayscale portrait paintings representing a visionary of their choice using acrylic paints and canvas, and these was all done through the lens of the MJ musical themes. Mrs. Hanning and Mrs. McAtee's classes are also having work displayed in the RIT Start Here exhibition. That opening reception is January 17th at RIT. Layla Godwin, Dante Stewart, River Bateman, and Max Reed will all have work that is there. In science, the earth science teachers have been diligently planning and preparing students for the new Earth and Space Regents exam that we will be offering this year by aligning their curriculum with the next generation science standards, integrating more hands-on inquiry-based learning experiences that emphasize critical thinking and problem-solving skills. Working on investigations, providing students with practical, real-world applications of their learning. Living environment teachers are now focused on these new state-mandated investigations with plans to transition to their new test format in a year from this June. After that, we will be working on chemistry and physics moving forward. Both earth science and living environment have been actively participating in regional workshops through BOE since the summer and will continue into the spring to ensure that they are well prepared to support their student success as we make these changes. In our health department, we just recently had our annual blood drive. We also, since this presentation was created, we also, with assistance of the counseling department, hosted members of the Monroe County Impact Team to speak to our health departments about the realities of drug use and drug abuse and ways to get assistance if need be. Anybody who's walked through the building has noticed we've had some construction going on. Well, because of that, the tech teachers have been displaced. But even though that they are now teaching in what would be considered a non-tech room, I want everyone to know that they are still providing high quality of support and instruction and creating projects as if they were in tech room, as you can see some of the pictures. In social studies in DOC, our classes learned about local government from Chile representatives. Classes were also invited to participate in the New York State Educational Outreach Program to help the United States District Court for Western District of New York celebrate their 125th anniversary. New York State attorneys will be coming into our classrooms to teach lessons, provide an essay contest opportunity based on those lessons, and even a mock argument competition involving select essay contestants.
Continuing with department happenings, this is our first school year where we are offering half-year courses around English. The traditional way is going through an English 12 course or humanities or even our AP literature or lang classes. This year we're offering half-year courses that seniors had some flexibility to choose from. So you might choose a class like film and literature for the fall and then take a multimedia communications class in the spring to meet your senior 12 English requirement. One thing I'd really like to highlight is the Intro to Education class we now have. 3 years ago, this started as a club with just 8 students. It grew to 14 students. Now we have a section full of 22 students sitting, learning all the ins and outs of education. The background of where it started, we have teachers going in. We have our special ed department leader going into that classroom and talking to the students about IEPs and how to manage that. And we're working with New York State as well. Ms. Rosario is doing a great job connecting resources to the students so they are way more prepared going into the real world of education. We're still doing the partnerships with the middle school and the elementaries where they go shadow for the day and seeing different teaching styles, not just seeing one teaching style for the entire year. They're seeing what elementary looks like, middle school, trying to get everybody's interest and increase the educational pathway for students. This is a wonderful picture. I was invited by the show choir. They performed at the County Executive Building just before Christmas break. They did about a 40-minute performance. Those of you that went to the Winter Choral Concert saw part of this performance. They did an absolutely amazing job. They had this huge, awkward Christmas tree that they had to work around, so they still were able to execute their performance while having this large Christmas tree that you can see in the background right there. The kids did an outstanding job, and it was a huge point of pride for Gates Chiley, I thought.
Hi, I'm Layla Godwin, and I was lucky enough to be in my peer leadership class this year when Mr. Hamill asked us to do our murals for our class. And these murals were supposed to display kind of like our Spartan values as well as bringing more of a light space to our school. In peer, we had to make a proposal, which we brought to Mr. Hamill, and he met with all of our groups that we had, and we each had to explain what the mural was going to be about and how it was going to motivate students throughout the school day. So not all of the murals are based off of Spartan pride necessarily, but they are to bring positivity to the school. I was also told that I have a time limit to talk, so I'm not going to talk about this for too long. But the class has been very amazing, and I think that it's super beneficial to many of our students. It's allowed us to have volunteer opportunities and help the community when there is a need. So I really appreciate the flexibility that Mr. Hamill has had with our busy schedule as well as his own. And they all came out great. I have multiple teachers coming up to me on a day-to-day basis telling us how well we have done, and our teacher is proud of us, and not only our teacher, but other teachers and other students are happy that we have a bright school attitude kind of added to the school and a lot more school spirit. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say.
Next 2 slides are just pictures of other murals that have gone up. This is just outside of the health office. Again, not our traditional ones. We had some cool ones, proposals with some like kind of graffiti type writing that said "Go Spartans" or "Spartan Pride," and you know, this is a great one that kind of encompasses the different aspects of the school as a whole. Again, right outside of the health office in the high school. We had an outstanding Children's Institute opportunity that was shared with our student body back, I think, in October. It's a youth leadership council. Students had to formally apply for this and go through a full process. And what was interesting enough is there was only 24 students across the entire county that applied for it. 9 students were formally accepted in the program, and 3 of them are Gates Chili students, which is really, really great to hear. This is going to give them a wealth of knowledge on leadership opportunities, leadership strategies. I did not know this until I was preparing for this presentation, that they actually get paid to do this, which is really, really great. So it's always nice to learn a great set of skills on top of getting paid hourly for it. So just a great opportunity for our students and having that continued partnership with the Children's Institute from all the work we've been doing the last couple of years.
You know, as was mentioned earlier, safety and security is something that we feel very strongly about here in the district and in this building. And some of the things that we're here doing at the high school is regarding our lockdowns, that we're starting to have conversations and preparing both the staff and students for if something were to happen during inconvenience times. We always do drills during class time where everybody is secure. A lot of times the staff knows it's coming, so we can prepare, and that's good to teach that. But we also need to make sure that we're prepared if something were to happen during passing time, during lunches. So those are some conversations that we're starting to take place right now as we move forward to the next step is what if. We hope never, but we need to make sure that both our staff and students are prepared for that. In the process of looking at safety, we have regular tabletop drills that the admin team and security, the SRO, have been completing to just brainstorm different scenarios and look at some different situations and what would we do and how would we handle that and learn from each other so that we can do what's best for our kids. All of our staff has been trained in the TAP app. All have access on their own phones and personal devices if they want it. Otherwise, they do have that on the school computers, or will be having that regularly. They've also been given the ability to call a lockdown if necessary, because we can't necessarily guarantee where something is going to be happening and who will be there at that time. We had talked about it for several years about a threat assessment management team. And as we were talking, when students move in and out of the district, as they go from elementary to middle to high school, how do we make sure certain information is collaborated so that everybody who needs to have information has that? So at the high school, we created a threat assessment management team. It consists of security, our SRO, administration, student support services, and instructional staff member. We meet regularly, as well as if a situation were to arise, to discuss any students or situations of concern. It's another way for us also to monitor and make sure that particular students or situations are followed up upon as we move forward throughout the year or the next year, just in case to keep monitoring it if anything were to become more serious. All members have completed an online threat assessment training, and most have attended an in-person training with Steve Chatterton, who also works for the TAP app company in this process of threat assessment. And we have did a in-person training to learn the threat assessment process and how we can incorporate that and work with our counselors with any threat or assessments that they do as well. We also, our very own Lucas Gable will be presenting to the Monroe County School Boards Association on Gates Chili safety in February.
School culture is a big point of emphasis this year, and we've had a couple initiatives already through the school year provided by Mrs. Joseph and Mrs. Braid, actually. Mrs. Braid did senior thank yous, where seniors were able to fill out a nice little Thanksgiving thank you, where students reflected on thanking a staff member in the building, and then those were handed back to the staff members just before Thanksgiving break. Mrs. Joseph presented an idea to us about doing an underground spirit week. Those of you that aren't aware of what that is, it's actually one that's planned just for staff, and the students don't have any idea what's going on. So they walk into the building, and all of a sudden they see all of us dressed up as Target employees. I believe Modesty was actually trying to figure it out all week, what we were trying to do. So we had different days associated with our Underground Spirit Week, and then to wrap things up for the 2024 year, we had cookies and a compliment. So again, staff members were given an opportunity to write a nice little compliment to one another. They were distributed just before Christmas break, and then you had a chance to glue it or tape it onto a cookie tray and post it outside of your classroom or in your classroom somewhere, just recognizing each other and all the efforts everybody's trying to do to make this all happen for our students every day.
Good evening, good evening. My name is Gigi Parchment Magnuson. I am the 9th grade administrator. I promise you, you're taking a picture. I promise you, this, I'm gonna make it quick, okay? All right, so really quickly, I know you guys remember last year, you weren't here last year, and welcome, by the way. Thank you guys so much. Last year, you guys offered a HBCU tour to our students at Gage Child Eye, which was amazing. We visited the first HBCU, which was Cheyney University in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So, but this year, we're trying to, with your approval, of course, we're trying to go to a different HBCU group, which is BOE, Coppin, Morgan, and Howard University. And that's in the Baltimore and DC area. So we're looking forward, with your approval, to take a new group of students there. They had a chance to meet to interact with the staff. They had a tour of the campus. They had actually a little step show. They had the HBCU experience. So I will hope that Layla will come up here and share her experience with the HBCU tour, and hopefully you guys will approve the next one, which will be in March. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hi again.
Sorry.
They love to have me talk. So I would like to say that this trip was extremely beneficial to me. I've never experienced like going to a HBCU, and I know there's also a lot of kids like me that their parents don't have the time to just like go out and drive and take them to different colleges. So I'm extremely grateful that the school was able to offer this to us. I'm also very aware that there's not many schools that offer such a trip with so many things that are covered, and we were able to see so many like historical sites and see what the colleges have to offer and see what life on campus would be like and what they have to offer for us. And even if it's not a school that any of us were considering at that point in time or currently, it was definitely an eye-opener for what college life could be like for us as juniors. I would say that as a senior, I wish that the seniors had just as much opportunities as the juniors do, because we are still making choices just as much as they are. If not, like, we're even more prepared to like make those choices and jump into them. So if there could be like a conjoined trip for seniors and juniors at some point, or even if continuing just like the junior trip, it's very beneficial to all students regardless. And I think it is a great thing that has come in recent years, so thank you.
And this is just a picture from last year's trip. We had 11 students attend last year's trip. So far, we've had about 14 students show interest in going in March. So with your approval, we'd like to be able to send students again for this year's HBCU trip. All right, at this time, are there any questions regarding happenings at the high school? Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Richards?
Thank you, Mr. Ham. A question, can you just talk about the funding to be able to send the students on the HBCU tour?
Yep. So the funding or the process?
Both.
Both. Okay, so our process was going to be very similar to last year. We do want to offer to juniors. Junior year is one of the more important years of high school. It's where you're really starting to settle down academically and starting to try to get on track where you might go. So we do offer to juniors, and they have to fill out an application, get 2 teacher recommendations, and write a short essay of why they would benefit going to this. Then we also will pull some data from School Tool looking at overall grades, discipline, and attendance to make sure they're in good standing with the school, say, to go forward with that. And then I'm fortunate enough to work with the Office of Instruction and Mr. Olin, and to look to use some funding for that to try to make sure we're covering all costs for students to attend this, because it gets a little pricey with the 3-day trip, travel, busing, and all that kind of stuff. But we do work together to try to make this happening for our students.
What are you proposing for the dates?
So this year's dates, working with a couple other schools, are going to be March 25th through the 27th. March 25th through the 27th this year.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Ms. Kais?
I have a question about the hall pass.
Yep.
So with the hall pass, you can tell how long students are away. Can you tell where they are in the building as well? So if something happened, you can...
Yes, so they have to get the pre-approved pass. So if they say, yep, I want the green green lab or the blue bathroom, or if they're going to the counseling suite. I think there's not a limited number of places they can go, but we do have about, I think there's 8 hot spots that they can choose from that are just the quick picks. Otherwise, they can choose specific teachers where to go to. So we can see that, hey, they're frequently going to the bathroom second period and how long they're going to those places. But yeah, they are able to choose, and they were able to see where they are going to help track where they are.
Right, but if something happened in one of those bathrooms, you can look and say, oh, we had 6 kids out.
Yes, we are able to, we're able
Okay.
to look back like, hey, just so you know, we're looking, an incident happened at 9 a.m. and we have a pass that you created at 8:58 a.m. to the green bathroom. Like, we're able to track that down and pinpoint little things. Yep.
Any additional questions?
Are you finding there's less incidents this year with the hall pass system than in past years?
Well, I'll turn things to Mrs. Joseph, because from the instructional standpoint, I'll ask her, but I personally do feel, and also speaking with security, the hallways seem a lot less congested during instructional time. There's a lot less students out wandering about. Bathrooms are less restricted, during instructional time, so I feel like it is. I haven't dove into that part of the data, but Ms. Joseph, do you want to highlight anything specific?
It's definitely noticeable. We've actually had students step up and say that they feel more comfortable using the bathroom during class time now, because a lot of times they go and there's just kids standing in there. But the contact control has been a huge help in that, being able to prevent kids from being out at the same time. And then students are not allowed to create a pass the first 5 minutes or the last 5 minutes of class as well, so we're able to control hallway traffic.
Good, thanks.
Thank you. Dr. Richards? I'll go to you next.
Yep, I can give you everything you want. I'll get it to Mr. Daly by the end of the week for sure.
Ms. Kais?
I have a follow-up to Mrs. Davis's question. I'm interested, you guys won't have the answer to this right away, but if there's a correlation between the hall pass and the social emotional learning objectives together decreasing, you wouldn't have the answer to that right now, but
Okay.
it would be interesting to see if that overall pans out to be a healthier environment.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Thank you so much, you guys. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for your continued support. Great night.
All right, that moves us forward to our consensus agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the consensus agenda? Ms. Littlewood, Ms. Urbanowski, any discussion? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Can I have a motion to approve consensus items C through G? Can I have a motion? Ms. Kais? Mr. Long, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. All right, that moves us on to action items. Can I have a motion to approve the resolution to authorize the settlement with Agree Stores LLC? Can I have a motion? Ms. Jennings, Ms. Davis, any discussion? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Can I have a motion to approve the MOA between GCCSD and GC Teachers Association regarding teaching assistants hired prior to October 2024? Can I have a motion? Ms. Urbanowski, Ms. Littlewood, any discussion? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. You guys okay? I have people look. No. Yep. Yep. No, thank you for checking. I appreciate it. That's okay. So we just did the vote then for B. Now we're going to do C. Can I have a motion to approve the MOA between GCCSD and the GC Teachers Association regarding teaching assistants reimbursement for courses? Can I have a motion? Ms. Davis, Dr. Richards, any discussion? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. That brings us now to our superintendent comments.
I want to begin with a few important calendar reminders for our staff and community. First, but working backwards, I'd like to remind everyone that the district will be closed Wednesday, January 29th, in observance of Lunar New Year. For the first time, students and staff will have the day off to celebrate this rich cultural tradition, which aligns with our commitment to creating a welcoming and inclusive environment for all. Next, students in grades 6 through 12 can hit the snooze button and sleep a little later on Friday, January 24th. Classes will resume for the middle and high schools on Monday, January 27th. And finally, the district will be closed on Monday, January 20th, in observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. More than half a century after his death, Martin Luther King Jr.'s life and legacy still resonate through his teachings and important messages. His famous quotes are still called upon today, such as, "The time is always right to do what is right." When King spoke those words in 1964 and 65, it was to encourage students to sustain the nonviolent fight for racial equality. Let us all carry that message with us each day as we work to support every learner here in Gates Chi-Li. A group of former students paid us a visit last week for our annual grad night. It was our biggest group yet, with 17 graduates from the class of 2024 showing up to share feedback on their high school experience and how well prepared they were for life after GC. We had a great discussion with valuable feedback. Some of the quotes from the night included, "I would not be in college if it wasn't for the connection with the teachers I had. I am way ahead of my peers academically and socially because of the teachers here. And I came out a more well-rounded person than my peers in college because of Gates Chi-Li." Certainly a point of pride for everyone listening that evening. Last week, we also began our capital project presentations to our staff, sharing information about our upcoming vote on Wednesday, February 5th. Voting will take place from 6:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. in the Spartan Fieldhouse at Gates Chi-Li High School. As you've heard from Dr. Ball and our construction partners over the past several months, the project will address critical infrastructure and mechanical needs across our district. These improvements will ensure schools remain safe and efficient environments for students and staff. And it's important to stress that this project will have no additional tax impact on our community. This week, the GC PAC will once again be filled with the sounds of GC voices and instrumentalists. Tomorrow, the Brasser Bears will have their band and chorus concert. Then Thursday, the Armstrong Stars will have their turn to perform. And then next week, the middle school 6th grade band will have their chance to wow their loved ones with a special winter performance. All performances begin at 7 p.m. in the GC PAC. Next week, our district will be honored for our school bus initiative in purchasing of electric buses. The award is being presented by the Greater Rochester Clean Communities. We'll share more about this honor after the ceremony next week. And I'd like to close out this evening by formally welcoming Keisha Carter to Gates Chi-Li. Ms. Carter started yesterday as our new Director of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, and she came back for a second day, and we're really hopeful that she'll come back for a third tomorrow. We're very excited to have her on board. And prior to this, I wrote this, I also just got some great news about our board member here. We have amongst us the Employee of the Quarter at Starbucks in Lucas. So congratulations to Lucas for being the Employee of the Quarter, the youngest at his store. That is my report, President Coffey.
Thank you. Congratulations, Lucas. Can I now have a motion to adjourn our meeting? Ms. Littlewood, Mr. Banowski, any discussion? All in favor? The vote is unanimous. Our meeting's adjourned. Thank you.